Hey guys, it's Remy, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience at Abbey Road Studios. So I was really lucky to go to a lecture, so it meant I got to go into Studio 2. I'm in Studio 2, guys. I can't believe I'm here. And here are some of the pianos they used and other artists used as well. The lecture was about the history of the studio and the Beatles recording there, and they even showed us some of the pianos and even demonstrated by playing the pianos. It was so interesting and so awesome being there. So Lady Madonna's playing right now, and this was the piano they recorded it on. They also recorded Penny Lane on that piano as well as Obla di Obla Da, and on this piano they also recorded Penny Lane and they recorded The Fall on the Hill. On this piano they recorded Good Night, and Time by Pink Floyd was recorded on this piano. This was the piano they used to record Hedwig's theme. Oh my god! Here is the echo chamber. I'm in the echo chamber and it sounds amazing. I look at you all, see the love there that's sleeping, while my guitar gent and every mistake we must surely be learning. Still my guitar gently weeps. I just sang in the echo chamber by myself. That's amazing. Then of course the iconic stairs, which I learnt from the lecture, they weren't originally there when this studio was built. So, I remember at Music Tech we had small mixes and I found them overwhelming. Jesus.
It's only one thing repeated 60 times.
It's Studio 2 from above.
Yeah.
It's
So you
just
make
the
these
same.
jobs sound very easy.
This one is a 64.
And the other is over Wigan.
Yeah.
These things.
A company called News make them.
And then it's really nice. Stuff on Facebook now.
Does still work.
I'm afraid the original
one that the Beatles sent.
Continue past it.
So most of the time they were always recording in this section. Ringo is normally in this corner. There's a photo where George is recording right where those doors are, and where we're standing right now is where they would have been. And Ringo's view from the drum kit would have been the stairs. So like I said before, the lecture was really interesting. There was some stuff I remembered learning from my music tech class that ended up in this lecture, and there was some stuff I didn't know at all. Like, did you know the tapping in Mother Nature's Son is not Paul's foot or a metronome, but him tapping his book? Because I didn't know that. Oh, it was so interesting. I loved being there. But yeah, the lecture, there was so much information. It started off with, you know, the famous photo of Nipper the dog hearing his master's voice through the gramophone. The iconic photo, the logo for HMV now, which stands for His Master's Voice. Yeah, it started off with that. They talked about how they eventually started inventing microphones and they needed a place to record with the microphone because the microphone needed to be in a space where it couldn't pick up other noises, so that's where they found the studio. That's where they built the studio. It used to be an old house. And then what each studio room does, what its purpose was, how it changed over time through the decades, how film scoring came up to in the 80s, because Studio 1 is for orchestras and classical music, and it was declining until the suggestion of using that room to record film scores there was made. And in the studio you weren't allowed to film in the corridors, but the corridors were full of film posters signed by the composers, and I saw one for Endgame with Alan Silvestri's signature, and I couldn't believe it because he composes Back to the Future as well, and that's one of my favourite films, so that was awesome seeing that, and plus all the other signed posters. I saw Studio 1 actually. They had the doors closed for the most of the time I was there because they were recording, and we weren't allowed in any of the other studios. We were only allowed in Studio 2. But as I was leaving, I was one of the last people to leave the lecture. That's why in some of the clips it looks a lot emptier, because I just didn't leave. I was like, I paid to be here, I'm going to stay here as long as I can. Yeah, as I was leaving, the door to Studio 1 was open, so I had a little like peek. That was cool. And yeah, so like the lecture started off with the dog and the gramophone, took all the way through history. Obviously most of it was about the Beatles, and then they ended the lecture by showing the actual film of Nipper the dog hearing his master's voice. The gramophone doesn't make it. The dog gets so excited he ruins the gramophone. It's so funny. And the lectures were really cool, and yeah, it was just awesome being there. It was so surreal. I just couldn't believe I was there. I was spending a lot of time, once I was seeing the pictures of the Beatles in Studio 2, I was then picturing them being like right in front of me, and it was awesome. I'd really recommend you guys go, save up for it. It's a 90-minute lecture, but you get time before and after to look around Studio 2 and the control room and the echo chamber. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because I don't see, even though it happens every year, unless you were really an avid fan of the studio and wanted to go to the same lecture again and again, I don't think you'd go more than once unless you were there for other purposes. But yeah, I'd really recommend you do it. It's a one-in-a-lifetime thing, and it was awesome. Also, it was especially awesome that I went this year, as this year is the 50th anniversary of Abbey Road, the album. As before Abbey Road, it was just EMI recording studios. It was just on Abbey Road. Before that, it actually used to be called His Master's Voice Studios, and then when EMI took over, EMI became EMI Recording Studios. But yeah, because Abbey Road, the album, was so iconic, everyone just started calling it Abbey Road Studios. So I'm really glad I went this year. I'm proud of myself for going this year, just well done me. But yeah, life-changing experience, just absolutely incredible. So this is the top I got from the Abbey Road shop. I'm really happy because it's George's song. George is my favourite Beatle, if you couldn't tell, and finally have a top that marks the 50th anniversary of Abbey Road, and I'm really happy I've got it. It's perfect. I love it. I love it so much. Then I hopped one stop on the tube to Baker Street, as the Beatles used to have their own Apple boutique there, and this is what it used to look like, and this is what it looks like now. And if you look close, there is a little plaque saying how John Lennon and George Harrison used to work there, and I was really happy that I saw that. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found my experience at Abbey Road and Baker Street interesting. and I'll be back with my regular record videos very soon. Bye guys.